Before I even knew that I had a love for cars, I had a love for cars. When I was about 4 years old, I would go outside and inspect the car before we went anywhere. So while everybody was getting their keys together, I was outside looking at the tires to make sure that they had air and whatnot, make sure the car was in tip-top shape, ready to go. Well, a lot of people don't know this, but my actual full name is Aubrey Neil Corbin. No, that was a great-grandfather, and Aubrey is actually my alter ego. When I drive really fast, Neil goes away, and Aubrey comes out. So this actually is a true story. Yeah, I would say one of the reasons that I'm actually involved in rallying is because my father used to compete, and obviously I have Corbins from Corbin's Garage who are also involved in rallying. So between them and also between my father and the history, I guess, of Toyota, because I'm very much a Toyota person, that really, I guess, brought me into the whole sphere of rallying. My first rally car was actually this same Toyota Starlet. We got her probably in about 2001, and we just drove her. I just drove it on the road for about 2 years, and then eventually in 2003 was when I did my first event. Before I buy a product for the car, I want to make sure that it can actually stand up to the test of time. So it needs to be durable, it needs to be strong, it needs to have good reviews. I also do take the opinions of others very strongly, and I need to know that it has worked in the similar application before, so that I can be confident that it will actually withstand the abuse that it's going to take. We made a switch to Valvoline based on some recommendations from Peter Hinkson, who is obviously our engine builder, and I had heard the Valvoline products obviously throughout the US market and whatnot, and just never really realized what it could do in the local rallying market. And once we switched to Valvoline, we actually found that the engine has worked fantastic. We haven't had any issues in relation to oil at all. Obviously these engines are built locally, and we don't put them through the same balancing regiments and whatnot that a lot of the international teams would do. But we still beat them up day in, day out in the rallying, and they live at 9,000 RPM. So at the end of the day, the oil takes it. There's a lot of heat being generated in the engine. So once we realized that the oil pressure was staying up and everything was working quite well with it, then we kept on with Valvoline. I think the values that Valvoline really takes on as their own do reflects in some ways what I also want to see myself as part of. At the end of the day, Valvoline and Toyota can work really well together also, because the whole motto for Toyota is durability and reliability, and obviously value for money. So in going with that, I just want to have a product that is going to just basically put up with whatever I put at it. So with me now, I obviously am going to be a father soon, and I have family who's done motorsport and been very successful in it. So I really just want to be able to kind of make sure that my approach to motorsport and approach to a lot of things just in a day-to-day life also, I kind of keep the right values in place and make sure I pass those values on to the next generation. And also, you never know where my children will be going. You never know if they will be interested in motorsport also. Personally, I hope not, but because obviously it's quite expensive. But as it goes, we just want to try and do what we can to please the children and please the family. So one of my local heroes is actually Roger Hill. He actually was in motorsport for a long time, and he's always been very, very consistent and quick. He is not always the most flamboyant, but his attitude and his drive to get to the end and to do every single event that he can do is what really had me amazed. I remember when I was a very young boy, I would go and watch him at Bushy Park, and just see him kind of button and weaving through all the cars and doing quite well. And I just saw him as one of the persons who I would like to do motorsport like. I thought the way that his attitude towards motorsport was very good, so I kind of wanted to follow in his footsteps, kind of thing. Definitely the proudest career moment that I have would be when we won the double championship in 2012. That was the Motoring Club and the Rally Club championships, both in 1 year. It became quite unexpectedly. Just how the championship works sometimes, towards the end of the year you just have no idea what's going to happen, and that year it turned out to be mine. So that was definitely one of the proudest moments. The whole team was just over the moon with the result, and although obviously the car wasn't in the top groups at the time, it still was a really good feeling for all the work that we had put into the car, all the hours of fabrication and all the hours of just trying to work on it. All of us, the whole team, because obviously it's not just the driver, it's the whole team that really puts the whole thing together. And that was actually a huge moment for us. In relation to setbacks, I am quite fortunate in the fact that we have been very lucky in one way, but also I think it has a lot to do with how we prepare ourselves and try to get the car ready and whatnot. But at the end of the day, things will happen, and in Rally Barbados we did have a few issues with electricals, and we obviously, if you're trying to go for an overall and you're trying to go for a group win, which is what everybody's trying to do, you really want to get every single second that you can out of the stage, and having a problem that makes the car lose power is obviously a significant thing. So my attitude obviously right away was that it was going to slow us down, and it was quite frustrating. But then once you realize that you're actually going to get through and you're going to make it to the end, if you lose 10 seconds in a stage, it's not that big of a deal in the grand scheme of things. So it just makes sense to try and get to the end and go there as fast as possible. Some things you just can't control. It doesn't make sense to get stressed out about it. In 5 to 10 years, I would like to see myself driving a rear-wheel drive car. Two-wheel drive, definitely. I think the two-wheel drive and rear-wheel drive is the way to be in motorsport in Barbados. It's quite thrilling, and especially the rear-wheel drive is great fun to drive. You can control the angle of the car with the back wheels and the throttle. So I would say I wouldn't really want to be going into anything four-wheel drive just yet. But I like where we are now, because obviously it's a bit cheaper than doing it the four-wheel drive way, and it's a bit more affordable in motorsport. So I don't think I really want to go all out in rallying in Barbados. I just really want to go out there, have a fantastic time, and get as much bang for my buck as I can. I would say my favorite stage would definitely have to be the Hyman's Hill to Mount Misery. It is a very bumpy stage, and it's very challenging, quite tight, and a lot of areas where you really don't want to leave the road, but that has a lot to do with the appeal. Obviously what we've built here it's built to withstand bumps, it's built to put up with them anyway. It doesn't like them, but I find that the car actually works really well in the tight, twisty, bumpy stuff. So I just love to go in there, toss it around, and basically just deal with whatever it does after that. So that's one of my favorite stages. I haven't really thought about what I want people to remember me for. At the end of the day, I just want to go and have a good time in motorsport and make the crowd enjoy themselves also. I always have of the opinion that if you go out there and you're way too serious, especially in a clubman sport in Barbados, I think it comes off as, to the crowd especially, that you're really out there and you're just doing it for yourself, and instead of doing it for everybody else around you also. And I like to obviously impress the crowd wherever I can, but I also try to go fast. So I'm not going to go out there and and not drive like Jeffrey Elliott. I'm not going to slide it every single corner, but I would like to still go out there and enjoy myself, and you know, put it a little sideways. Hopefully people will enjoy that, and that's pretty much it. So if they like what I'm doing, then that's great.